Okay guys, this is the complete transformation process for Fans Hobbies take of Buster from Super God Master Force. But it's just a reminder, this is only the transformation process and the review is separately uploaded. Right, I'm going to do this as a tutorial as well, so I hope you find this useful. If you've just got it out of the box, this won't be out, but if you've transformed it, you need to just push the booster in. And if you've just got it out of the box, there's a chance that the forearms aren't clipped under there anyhow. So just lift the wings up off these. You'll see that these do tab in there like so, so just separate it off there. It does tab in pretty well. Lift these up and indeed out of the way. Right, let's try and make this as simple as possible then. So I'd say for now, rotate the tail there, fold these back, and then hold on to this part here and just separate. As you do that, underneath here, you can take these grey parts, fold these completely over themselves like so. These are just going to come out from underneath, fold them over, and then, to be honest, lift that up and keep it out of the way. Let's turn our attention to the front of the jet. This will disconnect on a slide, so slide it all the way up like so. And then what we're going to look at doing is just slightly disconnecting this. This is very much like Darkwing from G1, I think. Separate the legs there. This is the only scary bit, and you'll see this now when I lift this out. You've got this part here, which is the waist, and it's not the great, well, it's not the thickest bit of plastic, but it does seem to be quite sturdy. Rotate these around 180 degrees, and then you're going to fold them back, so these are just going to all line up like so. Before you do that, lift up this red part, lift up this red part, and I'm just going to keep that down there for now, because what I need to do very carefully is take this grey bit, and I'm going to slide this through the back like this, up and over. It's really important that you do that, so don't forget that, and then don't forget to open up these. Now we're going to condense and collapse this over like I was mentioning earlier. If I move the arms out of the way, you'll see what I mean. Bring this over, hold it to make sure it's supported, click it into position. That is the legs pretty much done. So what we'll do is, let's finish them off. Open up the back of the calves, take what are going to be the feet. These will fold out, and they've got some heel screws as well, so bring these out at the same time, collapse that down, same principle, bring it out, fold it out like so, and collapse there. Right, then you can see if I hold on to this, if I hold on to one side, I'm going to slide the leg out along this hip skirt. You can see the gap, how close that is. So the same principle, hold it here, slide this out. So now you've got some clearance, and you can see that you're actually going to be able to pose him. Again, and they're not joined. That's them together. This is them out. It is really important that you do slide it out. And then, of course, remember when you're transforming him back. But, of course, I'll show you that yourself. So slid that out of the way. Right, this can be relatively tricky, but hopefully you'll be able to follow through with this. See the tab there? Lift this out and slide it up. This makes it much easier for the future. So lift this out, slide it up. Now, this is the only real difficult part, the nose cone bit. What you can do here is you're going to separate all of these, stretch them out. Now, I'd advise not grabbing onto this part, pushing it out, and then grab onto the part in front. The reason for that is my copy of this part sometimes comes off. Then I'm going to carefully just lift the landing gear out of the way. Make sure this is fully extended. See how wide this goes? There you go. You need to hear that click. So you can see that the head now is going to be quite easy to manipulate. Fold this down, pull the head through. Ooh. Again, I make this look more difficult than it is because I'm doing it on a camera. Bring this forward there, turn this around. So what we're looking to do is bring the head, there we go, no problem whatsoever, actually straight through there like that. Right, what I'm going to show you now is the most tricky part, but hopefully you should find it quite easy. Fold the nose cone down, don't collapse these in yet. The reason for this is we need to get, when I bring this down, there are tiny little red tabs there into the cutouts there. So these need to stay as wide as possible. Let's bring the nose cone in, to be honest, just so it's sort of in position like that. And then keeping these wide, there's one tab there. So let's just push that into there. Much, much better. This one as well. Push that into there. We're pretty much done now. Rotate the waist around, keeping the head forward. Fold the grey part over, tuck that behind his neck. Correct the orientation of the head, and then slide it back to hold it into position. This is the clever part now with the arms. Watch this. Hold onto the shoulder. So slide down the elbow joint, hold onto the elbow joint, reveal the fist. So extend below the shoulder, collapse at the elbow. And there's your fists. And then it's just a case of collapsing and connecting all this. So fold this back over, like I said, if it has come disconnected, push in there, that will click into position, collapse the wings over, collapse the wings over, and there is your robot mode. Hope this helped, guys. Take care. Okay then, so let's take him back to his alternate mode. This is obviously that little bit easier because we're going to just do the transformation backwards. So hold at the top of the elbow, slide the forearm cover down, hold at the shoulder, and then cover up the elbow joint. So repeat, cover the forearm, cover the elbow, and then very carefully just disconnect this tab here, and then disconnect, of course, this little tab here. Once you've done that, you can then turn your attention to the front, and you can indeed disconnect that as well. Right, then what we're going to do then, if you bring your head slightly forward and then push this grey part up, make sure this is all the way up. Keep it on this side for now because we need this clearance to get the head through there. So as I lift this up, I want you to very carefully just lift the landing gear slightly out of the way, fold the nose cone up, and then what we need to do is extend this all the way out as far as we can. You'll hear it click like that. And again, just move the landing gear out of the way. This is now so we've got enough clearance to then push the head down and back through this gap and slot it into there like so. That's just got caught there, so let's bring this slightly forward and back, and it fits in perfect like so. Then if you want to, you can start to close the nose cone up around it. Just remember to cover the face up, and this is again my part's got this just a little bit loose, so I'm going to carefully push from here. I don't want to push from this because what happens with my copy is this bit just comes off a little too easy. I've collapsed the nose over like that. Now I'm going to again create a little bit of space to push this grey bit back, up, down and through. So let's move this out of the way. There we go. That's going to come down and collapse in there. Then close these together as well. Right, if you turn your attention to the legs, if you remember we opened up at the thighs, so hold on to the waist quite tight and then you can slot the leg down. See how these have moved closer together now? You can see they're nowhere nearer out on the hip skirts. Lock them together via that little tab, and let's turn our attention to the back. So if we just lift up where the calves were right there and fold the heel sprue in, fold the foot over, that will fit snugly, and tuck away, heel into toe, over and clip down. And then the heart and mouth part for me is disconnect this very carefully. It's just because it's on that tiny little thing. Rotate this round, and then before we connect it, if you remember, this makes things way easy. If you just disconnect the shoulder and slot it down into that little tab just below it, you haven't got to do any guesswork there. You've just got to pop it in there, and then this will come over. Remember to collapse it over on its back on itself as well. Slot that in. You can see through the back then if this is over, and also you can tell that I've pushed it in just a fraction too far because that can't get its clearance. I'm just going to slide the hip out a teensy little bit like that so the grey part can fit underneath. Same on this side. See how that tab's just fit under there, no problem whatsoever. Once that's in, you can then start to finish and tidy everything up. So we will take the wings, we're going to fold these out just so they're out of the way. Let's lift this part up. Right, you can see, oh no, the tab has gone in there, the tab has gone in there. I've just not pushed it down fully yet until I've got everything lined up. The reason why it's not lined up is the hips are a little bit squiff, so I've just lined them up, and that's just brought everything into alignment. So lift this up, take this grey part, remember, fold it right back and underneath. Same on the other side, which is this, fold it right back underneath. Fold the tail fins down, bring the tail around itself, bring this over, and then that will clip into position like you just heard. You can then take your booster and you can pull it out. Right, turn your attention now to the top of the jet, slot that down into position, and then all you've got to really worry about, oh, that's because that's come open, there we go, is underneath here, there's two tabs and there's some slots on the underside of the wing. You probably heard that click in, which is perfect if you did. So just correct the orientation of the forearm as you're doing this, bring this up, line it up, and you heard that click in, and just make sure everything's tight. There you go, back to alternate.